Welcome to the Confident Fit Women podcast, the number one podcast for women and moms who are trying to lose weight in a sustainable and non-restrictive way. My entire goal as a fitness coach is to give you a quick weight loss tips, some sustainable resources, and making sure that you are on track into losing weight in the proper way rather than trying to kill yourself of cutting out foods that you shouldn't be cutting out, which is perfect with today's episode because we're going to talk about the fact that everybody thinks you have to cut out carbs to lose fat. And honestly, most of my clients eat bread daily and they're still losing weight, they're still losing fat, and they're still becoming as healthy as they possibly can. So let's be real for a second, okay? It is within the weight loss industry that carbs have been very, very, very unfairly demonized for years and years and years and years. And somewhere along the line, people have started believing that eating one slice of bread is going to magically stop fat loss in its tracks. And if you eat, a tablespoon full of pasta or rice or potatoes, you're just not gonna be losing weight. And that is 100% wrong, right? And that's why I want to talk about this, because a lot of my clients first came to me, they were so confused on what they should be eating, believing all these myths and these lies. And that's why I created that cheat sheet that's going to help you know exactly how much food you should be eating in a day, but also what kind of food you should be eating in a day, because I don't want you to be the person that is cutting out carbs out of their diet when you don't have to whatsoever. We all love pasta, we all love pizza, we all love bread. Come on, right? So yeah, let's make sure we keep eating those things, because again, it's about sustainability. Now, for those of you who have no idea who I am, my name is Salome. Over the last 5 years now, I've had the privilege to coach over 200 women lose between 20 to 70 pounds in the first 90 days with my program called the Dangerous Divas. And like I said, we focus on sustainability and healthy eating rather than restricting ourselves, right? And everything that you see, every post that you see on social media or wherever you find me, I like to give you a quick weight loss tip that you can implement immediately into your health and fitness journey. That way you're successful forever. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about this. You do not need to cut carbs to burn fat. Let me say that again so that you hear it. You do not need to cut out carbs out of your diet to burn fat. Actually, in fact, removing them is going to completely backfire results, big time. Okay, so here's what happens when you cut out carbs. And if you know, you know, I've done this multiple times to test it out, and it's the truth. When you actually cut out carbs, here's what happens. You are tired, you feel cranky, your brain is totally foggy, you start craving every off-limit food that you can possibly think of like crazy. And then what happens is that because you are restricting yourself so much and you're cranky and you're foggy and you're just tired overall, you start eating. You start binge eating. You become guilty, and the cycle restarts over and over and over all over again every single week, every single month, whatever it is, right? And then you say goodbye to your performance in your workouts because without carbs your performance is sucky, and it's just a bad rabbit hole to go down, right? If you guys have experienced that, like, say yes in the comments and tell me. I know for a fact that cutting out carbs makes me the most unpleasant person in the world, and my brain doesn't work. Like, I'm super foggy all the time, which for those of you that get like that foggy brain during the day, it's because you're not eating enough carbs. So yeah, and like your performance during your workouts is just not there, all that stuff, right? Does that sound sustainable to you? Because that doesn't sound sustainable to me, does it? Now, let's look at what works. And this is a method that I use with my one-on-one clients, and I think this is going to make more sense than cutting out a food group totally, okay? And hopefully it makes sense to you, and hopefully you can implement this, because cutting out carbs is just not the solution, all right? What we do is that we eat in a slight calorie deficit, not starving, just structured. So let's say your body needs to eat, I don't know, 2,000 calories a day to sustain itself will probably go down to like 1,800 calories, right? A slight calorie deficit, not 1,200 calories. That is way over restricting. Again, not starving, just structured. And then we focus on high protein meals to keep you full, to keep you satisfied, because protein keeps you full longer. All right. And we do include carbs that you love in the moderation. So yes, pasta, pizza, rice, fruits, those are all amazing foods to have. Of course, we focus on whole foods, which is much better. But yes, your number one source of energy is going to be from carbs. So make sure that you add that in, right? Then we prioritize strength training and walking. Nothing too crazy. 2 to 3 workouts of strength training, build some muscle while losing fat, and then some walking, which is a very underrated exercise that is great for weight loss. And then we enjoy the foods without being guilty. Okay? Like, yeah, have a cookie. Yes, have a pizza or ice cream. Period. Like, we're just not going to be guilty about it. And guess what happens? Guess what happens to every single one of my clients that I put them on the program like this, including myself? Not only do they lose the weight, but they feel energized, strong, in full momentum, in full control, and in full ability to function throughout the day without being cranky, without being tired, without binging over and repeating that cycle, right? Without cutting out an entire food group. Okay, so the bottom line here is that carbs are good for you. Carbs is your number one source of energy, and carbs are going to be your best friend. You don't need to suffer through keto. You don't need to fear the bananas or the watermelon or the strawberries. And you definitely do not need to eat like a rabbit to get results in your weight loss journey. You just need the right strategy, the one that fits for your life. The one that fits into your life, not the one that fights against it. You need to find something that works for you and that is sustainable in a healthy way, if that makes sense. All right. So if you're tired of not eating carbs or being scared of what to eat, make sure to comment carbs below, or ME below, and I'll send that ebook for absolutely free over to your messenger. That way you know exactly how much food you should be eating in a day, but also know what kind of food you should be eating in a day. And I'm pretty sure there's some workouts in there as well. So let's get rid of that mindset. Let's make sure that we focus on sustainable eating and that we enjoy our diet. All right. Let me know if you have any questions whatsoever in the comments. And if you don't, I will talk to you guys in the next episode, which is weekly, by the way. Peace.